Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I'm not here with Geeky Sparkles. I'm going to talk about Pirate Software biting back at viewers asking for an apology video over the Stop Killing Games controversy. Now, Pirate Software is not doing very well these days because of his criticism of the initiative. The guy is losing 10,000 subs per day on his YouTube channel. He's lost almost 200,000 in the last month, 170,000. Now, this is not his primary. Just to clarify, he is mostly a Twitch streamer, but it does look to me like viewers are speaking, gamers are speaking, and they've had it with this guy. But he's not gonna apologize. Now, look, I do agree with him to some extent that if you have an unpopular opinion online, you shouldn't have to apologize for it. But the guy just keeps doubling down, tripling down, misrepresenting what Stop Killing Games is. Obviously, he's on the side of the publishers, the studios. And he said that they really don't have an obligation to continue a game after its intended life cycle. And that, you know, everybody should just basically shut up and stop whining, and that this is what it is and it's going to hurt studios, whatever. But the backlash has led to him leaving his own game studio. It's led to Notch, the creator of Minecraft, calling him a Nepo baby. And just his street cred, I think, has been destroyed at this point. But I will agree with him. If you give an unpopular opinion, we've given unpopular opinions. God, we've stepped in it right now with the Superman movie. Neither one of us liked it that much, but that's okay if you did, right? I'm okay with that. If you like Superman movie, you love a Superman movie, that's fantastic. Good for you. I'm happy for you. But yeah, you shouldn't have to apologize for that. But the thing to do, in my opinion, would be to just like step away from this whole thing and not continue to whack the beehive and just be like, you know what? Good luck with your Stop Killing Game thing. I don't really care. I'm going to go over here and play with my ferret. You know, that's what you do. That would be the way to handle it, in my opinion. But I think he is getting a lot of attention, even if it's negative attention. He's getting a lot of attention for this. And maybe on some level he's thinking, well, some big game studio is going to come along and scoop me up because I'm defending them. I don't know. It just sounds to me like he's thinking to himself, you know, I'm not gonna give in to this. But it's weird that he's kind of making himself out to be the victim, right? Like, you're not the victim, dude. You went after a hot topic. You misrepresented the hot topic. You got into a pissing match with people. And again, you can be like, hey, I don't agree, but whatever. But that's not how it went down, as I understand it. So let's take a look at this, and then we're going to talk about Stop Killing Games getting official support from a prominent European politician. So the thing is picking up momentum. And actually, because of his backlash and him, you know, calling more attention to it on his platform, I think he actually did help it considerably, when he's taking credit for that. Taking credit for that too, I guess. Pirate Software claims being made the villain boosted the petition's momentum as Stop Killing Games hits 1 million signatures. Yeah, so he's taking credit for that too. Anyway, let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, go out to news.clownfishtv.com for more podcasts, more news. Thank you very much for the support. Yeah. So, Pirate Software bites back at viewer asking for apology video over controversy. So, we're going to watch this clip here. I guess we'll watch this first, and we're going to see what's going on.
Put up a video saying you were wrong with every situation and the internet move on. I am not doing that. I don't give a fuck.
It bothered. I can tell by the look here. You can tell by the look on his face, it clearly does bother him. He clearly does give fucks about this. And I would give fucks too if I were losing 10,000 subscribers a day. You can't tell me it doesn't bother him.
Yeah, simply bend the knee and lie about how you feel, and everyone will stop bullying you. That's a great idea, dude. Yeah, no, eat shit.
Dude, I don't think in this case the guy is being bullied. I think he went looking for problems. He doubled, tripled down. He misrepresented the movement, as I understand it. You know, I haven't been there, you know, daily looking at the blow by blow, but from what I gather, he went looking for trouble. He thought his opinion was going to be a lot more popular than it was. And, trouble found him. Now, he is claiming he's been doxxed, harassed, swatted, threatened. Don't do that. If it's true, I don't know if anyone's produced any receipts of that, but if it's true, do not do that. Never do that. If for no other reason. I mean, one, it's really scummy, shitty. People can actually get hurt. It's just internet stuff. It's not worth it. But if for no other reason, it undermines what you're trying to accomplish. If you become known as the movement that wants to dox, harass, stalk, SWAT people, nobody's going to take you seriously. They're going to be like, yeah, you're the bad guys. And we saw this happen. I saw this happen with, drama and comics on the internet. It really undermined the people who claimed they had the moral high ground when they were resorting to doxing, harassing, trying to get people fired from their jobs, trying to get people blacklisted, and in some cases actually having them swatted. Then everybody's just like, yeah, you guys are the bad guys. You're the bad guys. So don't do that. So they have a little more information here on Deserto. The Stop Killing Games movement started in April 2024 by Ross Scott, better known as Accursed Farms. It has one goal: stop publishers from killing games after developer support is stopped, which I agree with. I think games should be allowed to be archived via emulation too. Nintendo doesn't seem to agree with that, but I think that some games need to be preserved because good luck finding a physical copy, and especially in the case of arcade games. It's getting harder and harder to find working cabinets. A lot of times if you buy a cabinet for a rare game, you need to buy multiple versions of that cabinet or that game to restore that machine, and sometimes that's just not possible. There are a lot of very rare games out there that there are only a handful of working cabinets. So in that case, I completely agree with emulation. These games should not be lost to time. I don't think. So there have been plenty of supporters of the movement, with PewDiePie, Asmongold, Jacksepticeye putting their names on the petition. There have also been a few critics. Pirate Software has been the most vocal against the movement. The game developer and Twitch streamer stated that it was too vague in its aims. He also stopped working with Ludwig as Rivals of Ether 2 was review bombed over his stance. He addressed some of the controversy around it, but no plans to apologize, even if some viewers believe that will stop some of the unhinged behavior against him. I think, look, I get he is entitled to his opinion, even if it's unpopular. He is entitled to it. And I don't know if he needs to come out and give like a full-throated apology, but I think just be like, look, we're going to agree to disagree. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. I mean, again, if for no other reason, dude, your channel, look at this. A lot of YouTubers will never get 170,000 subscribers, and you piss them away in less than a month because you just will not let up. You're on the wrong side of it, according to a lot of your audience, and it's very clear that they don't agree with you. And you're just hurting yourself, right? I mean, you don't have to give an apology. You don't have to change your mind. Nobody's asking you to change your mind. I would personally just say, drop it. It's unpopular with your audience. And just be like, you know what? I'm not going to talk about it. I'm going to move on to something else. And good luck with that and whatever. That would be my opinion. But and again, you're allowed to have your opinions there. But mine is, you're killing your own channel, dude. Nobody's going to take you seriously at this point because you're just, I mean, why is it like YouTubers, they never, now I can't say never, but I'm watching this more and more, the older we get and the longer we've been doing this. And we've been doing this for about, I would say professionally or semi-professionally, I guess, if you're making, money at it or whatever, getting paid to do it, for about 7 years now, 8 years, maybe 7 or 8 years. And I've seen so many YouTubers who had everything going for them just completely self-destruct. And it's usually some kind of like personality glitch or, alcohol or drugs are involved or something. And they just like, everything's going well for them. All they got to do is be normal. Like all you have to do is be normal. And I get that, channels wax and wane. Sometimes, people just, they kind of slowly burn out. I've witnessed that too. I'm watching some channels that, I've been maybe looking at for 10, 15 years. and they're just kind of like, they're not as relevant as they used to be. They're still around, or they just decided, hey, it's not really worth it. I don't want to do this anymore, whatever. And they just kind of, sail into the West. And I think that's the best case for a streamer or a YouTuber, is that you accept that sometime your time is up and it's time to just sail into the West, but you don't want to flame out like this, right? Because then everybody's going to remember you for that. I'm looking at the situation with, I'm not going to name check anybody, but there are several prominent YouTubers in this space or adjacent to this space that are just burning themselves down in real time. And really, it would have been better for you to just stop. Just be like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to make this content anymore. I'm going to go, get a day job, or I'm going to just go do something else, or what, what I'm saying? And I kind of look at this. I'm like, I'm hoping when our time comes, and it will come, because it comes for everybody who does this. Everybody. I don't care how big you are. It comes for everybody. You want to end like PewDiePie. PewDiePie didn't really stop, but he kind of sort of did, right? You want to end like JonTron, right? You want to just be like, you know what? I'm just going to kind of pull back on YouTube content, but people still hold me in fairly high regard, and I'm not making an ass of myself online, right? That's the way to do it. Just be like, everybody has their time. Disc goes out, and it's time to move on to something else. But this is going to absolutely positively speed up the decline of his channel, his brand, and he's already losing deals. I mean, just stop it. Stop it. He's lost more than 100,000 YouTube subs, and because of his size, the more public the faux pas, the more attention is going to be on it. Now, Stop Killing Games is getting official support from a prominent European politician, so that's cool. I can't pronounce his name. Is it Nikolai Stefanata? One of the VPs of the European Parliament. Wow, posted a call to action on Instagram urging Europeans to sign the Stop Killing Games petition. The topic of games being shut down permanently has been a hotly contested one, with Video Games Europe and creators like Pirate Software voicing potential issues with the legislature against sunsetting games. However, talks online have been positive on SKG's mission statement for the most part. Now politicians are getting involved directly. This is in contrast to that Video Game Trade Association. It was like, it's not realistic for us to have an exit strategy for our online games. No. We want to pull the plug on that game and then make a new game, and you have to pay for that new game. You can't play your old games, God forbid. And that's what the bigger issue is. And I've talked about this before. For me, again, especially somebody that's into retro gaming and who does have kind of a vested interest in, keeping classic gaming alive. I said before, we have a shop. We do have a small retro arcade and esports center. We do have arcade machines. It is a bitch to find parts for some arcade machines these days. I'm just saying it is. And I would like to see retro games continue to thrive, and there will be no retro games. If they're allowed to continue to kill games, eventually there will be no retro games. You will not own your games. I don't like what Nintendo's doing with the Switch, with this virtual card shit, that even if you have a physical copy of a Switch 1 game, you have to lock it to that particular Switch. I think that's stupid. It's like, I bought that game 7 years ago. I own the physical cartridge, right? No, you don't. They want you to lease your games. And that is the real issue here. It's not just about saving your favorite online shooter or whatever. The real issue here is the companies want the right to be able to take away something that you paid money for. And we're seeing this with publishers too, book publishers too. Or like, you buy this copy of this book, you don't have a right to resell this book. I mean, is this like we just adopted another dog about 2 months ago, Walter. He's a sweetheart. His beagle, his rescue. But it kind of reminds me of that, like the shelter, because the agreement is when you take the animal home, if it doesn't work out for whatever reason, you have to return that animal to the shelter. And then they will rehome the animal, but you can't give the animal to your uncle or something like, yeah, it's not working out. Here, Uncle Sal, have a dog. It doesn't work that way. You have to take back the shelter. And that's what it reminds me of with games now too. It's like, well, you want to sell your game. You can't sell it to somebody at a yard sale. You have to bring it back to the shelter at Nintendo in Washington, So it's like then we'll just take it out back and shoot it. That's what's going on here. So this is the vice president of the European Parliament from Romania. He's advocating for the movement on social media, and though this doesn't mean the petition is guaranteed to make it in front of Parliament, it does increase the chances. So that's good. That's good. Here's his official stance. I stand with the people who started the citizen initiative. I signed and will continue to help them. A game once sold belongs to the customer, not the company. Yes, that is the issue here. And I actually didn't fully understand everything that was at stake when I first started covering this. I thought it was about people just wanting to play their online games forever. I'm like, well, they don't have to keep it online. It'd be nice if they did, but they don't really have to. No, the real issue, especially since I'm running into this myself, especially with Nintendo products, is that you buy a game, you don't actually own it. It's no different than buying a digital movie download on like Vudu or Fandango or whatever. If they decide to pull the plug on those movies, you've probably got thousands of dollars in quote unquote purchases. So they need to, if they're not going to actually sell you the game, then they should at least rephrase it as a right to use. You have a right to use, a right to play this game until we decide you no longer do. And so for $50, you're unlocking this game for as long as we decide to keep this game available. And that's really what it is, because they can pull their purchase or pull your purchase at any point in time. We saw it happen with Sony with a bunch of digital movies. They just like delisted them from their movie store. It was a couple of years ago. And people paid money for these movies thinking they own these movies. I made the mistake of thinking all this stuff was going to be online forever. I actually sold a bunch of CDs back in the day, sold a bunch of DVDs and Blu-rays back in the day because I didn't want the clutter of having all this physical media. Now I'm like, God, I wish I wouldn't have done that, because now I'm finding myself going back and buying my favorites again just to have physical copies. But it would be like going out and buying a VHS tape, and then you pop it in the VCR and it doesn't play because your VCR is not online. That's what they're doing now with Nintendo, especially. It's just, it's aggravating as hell, and I'm not really super excited for the Switch 2. If the games are good, I hate what they're doing now that my cartridges, I don't own my cartridges really, or I can't resell my cartridge to somebody else. We covered that this week too. Somebody sold a used Switch game on Facebook and it bricked somebody else's Switch 2 or whatever. It's so stupid. It's all very, very stupid stuff. But yeah, I think he's on the wrong side of it. You don't have to apologize. You don't have to agree. But I think at this point, if you don't agree, just get out of the way, because you're getting in the way of yourself and your channel. Just my opinion. Just my opinion. Take it or leave it. I don't care. But you're forever going to be this guy, this meme. Congratulations. And, I don't know. I don't think it's going to end his channel, but that cloud is going to hang over him for years. Until he sails into the West. I'm going to wrap it up. Please subscribe. We'll talk later. For more pop culture news, views, and rants, go to news.clownfishtv.com. That's news.clownfishtv.com.